Hi, it's Ben. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video that I made in Toastmasters. Now if any of you don't know what Toastmasters is, the link is in the box below. This is a speech that I gave called the Icebreaker speech, and the point of it is for people that are in my group to get to know me a little bit more. So stay tuned.
Thank you.
The other way.
We were there? Oh. Fellow Toastmasters, an honored guest. My name is Benjamin, and I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about my worldview. And first, have any of you heard of the topic, or the idea of worldview? Do any of you have a definition you'd like to throw out?
Your view of the world.
I love it. That's probably the most simple way that it can be described. And I went the wrong way again. So I'll get to the definition of worldview in a second. But what it is there's this circle. And a lot of times when we're looking at people and we're talking to people and we're looking at their actions or the way they're speaking, a lot of times they might do something that's kind of weird. And we think, is this just some kind of innuendo? But what we haven't done is we haven't really looked at what their worldview might be and used that worldview to trace what their actions are, because there's a direct correlation between what people believe and what people do. So the definition that I'm going to use of worldview is a fundamental cognitive orientation of an individual or society encompassing the whole of an individual's societal knowledge and point of view. And if we just cut all that away and use just point of view, that might be a good way to explain what worldview is. It's the things that we really truly believe about the world. And Bertrand Russell had another quote. He said, "Every man, wherever he goes, is encompassed by a cloud of comforting convictions which move with him like flies on a hot summer day." And that's kind of what I view worldview kind of is it's the things that kind of follow you around that you believe about the world and help you cognitively deal with it, help you know how to treat people, help you know how to do whatever it is that you're doing. So one of the key pillars to my worldview is my faith in Jesus Christ. Christianity is, I put the definition up there, the religion of a person and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, or its beliefs and practice. And I'm here to tell you guys that for me, it's not some esoteric belief of something in the past. It's not some dry page, but it's a real story of how God reached down and found me at a point that I was in and really touched my life. One of the defining characteristics of Christianity is something called grace. And grace means undeserved favor. So at the point where I was when God came down to me, I hadn't done anything to earn my place with Him. I hadn't done anything like that. It was all about God and what He did for me. There's a very famous verse in the Bible. It's John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life." And there's another verse that I believe is very important too. And it has to do with now that God has found me and saved me, what I need to be doing as a result. And it says, Matthew 6:24, it says, "Then Jesus told His disciples, 'If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me.'" And I came up with a little phrase that says, "saved to serve." And what it means is that since God saved me, He wants me to be serving others. So when it comes to my worldview and I have to make a decision, I think, well, the decision I make, it's not going to be about me. It's going to be about other people. It's going to be about my family. It's going to be about my children. It's going to be about other people in the world that I believe I can be helping. And that's what is something that's super important to me. So the other important thing about my life is I think like an economist. And some people might think that those two things don't quite mesh. But a lot of times we have to choose between something that's good and something else that's good. And it's like, how do we make that decision? Well, for me, that decision's always been something that I have to think about with two economic principles. And the first is the principle of supply and demand. So with the principle of supply and demand, generally people will use more of something that costs less. And so when I look at whether it be a policy or anything like that, I'm going to look at how do these things affect supply and demand. And the second one is called opportunity cost. And what opportunity cost is the real cost of anything isn't measured in how much it costs money-wise, but it's measured in what that resource or money can be used in other areas. So what that might be is, how much would it cost me to watch a television show? Well, that cost me the time that I could be spending learning something, or I could be spending doing something else. So those are the two kind of things that I base my decisions on: my faith in Jesus and my belief in economics. And yeah, so there's one more slide. And it's just, what is your worldview? And thank you for hearing me and knowing a little bit more about me. And thank you so much.
Again, thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a great deal.